Well, that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. I don't think I've ever done anything more embarrassing than what I just did. If you didn't notice, I messed up the time. I've been telling everybody 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern. 1 p.m. Pacific. Or 4 p.m. Pacific, which would be 7 p.m. Eastern. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right. Well. I guess we'll back this up a little bit. We'll wait for some of you guys to come on in. Anybody want to make fun of me? You know? Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Yeah, 7 works better for me, too. But I would have liked to stay asleep and not be freaking out and not go to bed super early and wake up early and make sure I got everything done. And, oh, man. All right. At least I didn't miss it. It's better that I, went early instead of late. That would have been horrible. I think the that would have been horrible if I was thinking it was 7 p.m. Eastern and it was 1 p.m. Eastern. That would be bad. So at least we haven't missed out on anything. But all the, I mean. Daniel says, I think you did that on purpose just to get us to hang out with you all day. I'm not gonna stay. I mean, I can't stay too long. I'm gonna be on. Actually, that's not true. I'm only probably gonna be on for an hour or so with him. Yeah, we'll hang out. But tricky, right? Yeah, I just completely like my back is soaked in sweat. I am drenched in sweat. I am so like, good lord. I just need a minute. I was not prepared for that. I'm sitting there, and then of course, that on your phone, on the YouTube Studio app, it doesn't give you, like, if I only, even now, I think it won't show. If I go to content, it still doesn't. I mean, obviously it shows that one, which was the wrong one, but the one that we're on now doesn't have a thumbnail, and it doesn't show. So I have to go through Discord to get the link. And because obviously I'm using the same thumbnail, then in, like, look at this. I'll just do like all the links, they're all the same. So I'm like, oh crap. So I had to email Lita, the assistant, that oops, I messed up. And here's the new link. And I sent the old YouTube link. At least I sent the right YouTube, or at least I sent the right StreamYard link. But oh man, that was embarrassing. I gotta delete that right now. Delete. Still gotta keep the money, right? Oh, all right. Deep breath. Take a drink. Get Morty some peanuts. And let's do this. All right, let it wash over you. Short-term memory. This is what we do. I definitely did not do a bunch of push-ups before this to hype myself up, only for Peter to not be here for another 6 hours. All right, so the claim is, should some beliefs never be questioned? And of course, you guys know that I would never say that, and I would say the complete opposite.
Whatever, but you might not get the right information. Maybe you don't like what you are believing in, but it's the whole facts. How do we know all the facts?
And you're saying to get more facts, you have to be allowed to ask questions.
Maybe questions, but I mean, I think maybe it's too late for questions. Maybe those people that had the right answers are, centuries dead.
How would you know what questions not to ask?
I would never know. I don't know
exactly.
that.
Okay, then if that's true, then why shouldn't you be on the disagree?
I don't know that either. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what kind of questions there would be to ask. I mean, we only know what.
So you have to be open to asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really open to asking questions, you have to be on the disagree line to disagree, because some beliefs should never be questioned. And if you don't
Is
know
that
what,
right or is that wrong?
well, I'm asking you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, then you should be on the neutral.
Exactly. So now we get to the point that Peter always talks about, that people will stand on the line that they think they're supposed to stand on instead of what they actually think. Shout out to CJ Rules You. Welcome to the party. If you didn't get the memo, I messed up the times as to when Peter's actually going to be here. He is going to be here at 7 p.m. Eastern, not 1 p.m. Eastern. But we are doing a little bit of pre-gaming, just getting used to who is Peter Boghossian, as we've been doing all week. So we're just going to go through one of his Spectrum Street epistemology videos. Welcome to the party.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Well, then why are you on the why are you on the slight disagree?
Just for the information that we don't have.
Okay.
I don't know what we have and don't have. I don't know if it's right.
All right. What do you think about all this?
I think as humans, we're always wondering why anyway. You know, if you see a doorway that's open, you're going to go find out why, right? No matter if it's been there for 100 years or 200 years, you're going to go find out what's behind it. It's natural instinct. So I think there's just some sort of a reason
good, brother.
we need to find out why, or for ourselves, you know.
Are there any things that shouldn't be questioned?
Anything? Wait, is there anything that shouldn't be questioned? No, everything should be questioned.
I mean, I'm sure there are some, but
Can you
still,
think of one?
as a natural human, you're going to wonder why if you're being told something that's
Yeah, you can wonder. You can wonder, which is what you should do. But stop wondering, because saying we already know is what you shouldn't do. And it does seem kind of counterintuitive. You would think that some beliefs shouldn't be questioned, right? But sometimes there's just no exception.
new to you, you know.
Okay. Can you think of anything that shouldn't be questioned?
No, everything should be questioned.
Then how come you're not on the strongly disagree line?
There you go.
You're right.
Okay.
So this is interesting, because usually when we watch these SSC videos, Peter is a lot more. I don't want to say standoffish, but he is very just like, okay, what do you think? Okay, what do you think? Okay, what do you think? And here he's kind of being like, well, you know, he's kind of pushing back a little. And I think maybe it has to do with the fact that there's more people, because usually if there's only 2 or 3 people, then you tend to have more or less, you know, 2 different opinions, if not everybody on the same. But if that happens and then he steps in, it's more of like teaming up. So maybe that's that has to do with it.
Can you think of anything that shouldn't be questioned?
For me personally, I would say my religion shouldn't be questioned for me.
For me, why shouldn't your religion be questioned? Because you know that it's correct, or because you're too emotionally connected to it being correct, that if it was wrong, then you would just crumble.
Because that's just my truth and what I believe.
My truth.
But if I had any doubts, or if someone else had doubts, then they may have questions. So there are areas personally for me that I wouldn't question or expect other people to judge or make decisions on, but it's because I've done the truth to find it for myself.
Okay. Let's say that somebody else is in another part of the world. Let's say that your religion is true.
Okay.
Like
Is it
objectively,
though?
whatever it is. And
Right.
let's say that somebody else is in another part of the world
Mhm.
who believes a different religion, and that means they're going to go to hell for eternity. Should
Mhm.
they question it?
Yes.
And wouldn't they be in the right if they said the same thing about you, if their religion was true?
Yes.
Mhm.
So then you should be able to question your own religion, and you should question your religion to figure out if it's true.
Exactly.
I think those have already been established, though. Okay.
See, I already have the right answers. I don't need to question my religion. I already know. There is nothing more that I could learn about this, because I already know.
Okay, so I will say early on, you should validate what you feel. Yes, you should validate your religion for truth as yourself and find that truth within yourself on what you believe. But after that is established, that's where I think some of
Can that be fully established with certainty?
it's a journey. I mean, there's some things that I would not question. And we look at history.
Like what? What would you not question?
History time said that, you know, Black people were not humans.
But you,
Or
no,
were
what if it's
considered
something
And you say that that shouldn't be questioned?
you not question?
I wouldn't question that. Black people are humans.
Oh, I see. I misunderstood.
Right.
I thought you said in history.
but
Okay.
but in history,
But that's questioning. That's exactly what we're talking about. If you're not questioning it, it means you're accepting it. If you're questioning it or pushing back against it or saying the opposite is true, that is what we mean when we say questioning.
there was a time where Black people were not considered humans. They
And-
were considered property.
And they were told, I'm not a historian, but I assume they were told not to question that.
Correct.
So it was a good thing that they questioned that.
Correct. Which is why I'm on the disagree.
So you're saying that the only thing that shouldn't be questioned is your religion.
For me, I wouldn't want
For me.
someone questioning, drilling me about my religion because I
Ah.
stand firm in what I believe in.
But I
But if you stand firm in what you believe, then it shouldn't matter if somebody comes at you and questions your religion because you stand firm in it. The fact that you can't handle that means that you don't stand firm in your religion.
been drilling you about your religion for 5 minutes now.
Not about my religion. You've just been drilling me about whether it can be questioned. Can it be questioned?
I don't know.
True.
It can,
She got you there. She got you there, Doc.
It can be.
It can be.
But you don't want it to be.
but should it be is a different
Well,
question.
should it be?
If you have
For me.
questions and I can provide you answers for greater insights, but my religion is not going to change based on your questioning.
How do you know that?
Okay. Is anything anybody on that half said persuaded you to move?
I don't think anyone's convinced me, so I don't know.
No, nobody's convinced you.
No.
Okay, so we have
Based.
a young person here. She's on.
And you know, that actually is kind of based to just be like, okay, I hear your side and I hear your side. And I'm not saying that I have the answers. I'm just saying neither of you have provided me with anything that gets me closer to an answer that I believe in.
The neutral line. What's your best argument to persuade her to move one line to the slightly agree about whether or not there should be beliefs that are not questioned? Give her your best.
I think it's funny that this fine lady right here
Over
is
there.
on the disagree
Okay.
and I'm on the agree.
Okay.
And I agree with a lot of what she said. With religion, she believes in her religion as I believe in my religion. And if somebody tried to dissuade me, I think I'm old enough now. Nobody's going to dissuade me of what I believe, but I'm open to what other people believe. And I don't know. I think it's funny that she's over there and I'm over here, but we have the same ideas.
Yeah.
So because you can have the same ideas, that doesn't mean that having the same ideas means that you're going to have the same position on questioning those ideas.
And the any race issue I think is brought up a lot, which I think I understand from our history of where you're coming from with that, but I think it's odd that most white people, or all of us, we're from Kansas City, totally don't believe any of that. Like we look at everybody as one, we're all here together.
Right.
And I think race is brought into so many issues that for us, it's not an issue, but for a lot of people, it's an issue. And I see why from the past is horrible, but we don't look at it like that.
So, okay. So I wanted you to persuade her, but you just said, because I'm coming back to you. So you agree with every single thing she says. So she's willing to be questioned about, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. So please tell me if this isn't correct. Okay, please. You want everything to be questioned except your religion, and that's why you're not on the strongly. Okay. So are you saying that you believe that you are willing to question everything except your religion, but because religion is a big part of your life, you're standing on the agree? Is that what you mean? Did I get that right?
Pretty much, yes. Not to say that you don't. I believe in questioning other things, like the planet is so big, just like us being here today, seeing a whole world that we've never seen before, history. And
If you took
What?
religion out of the equation, where would you be?
He's be like, well, I'd be on strongly agree because religion is so much different than any other way of thinking. Is it though?
state the question again that you said.
So when that's a fair thing. So the question then would be, if we are taking religion out of it, are there any other beliefs that should never be questioned?
The question is, some beliefs should not be challenged.
I think the main reason I came this way was religion.
So let's say, take religion out of the equation. Say exempting religious beliefs.
Right.
Some beliefs should not be challenged. Where would you be?
Maybe slightly this way, a little more.
Okay. Where would you be if you took religion out? Would you be on the strongly disagree with
She
her?
would have to be.
Yes.
Okay.
So
So that's just straight up special pleading for religious beliefs.
religion for you is the main, and him is the main thing that's preventing you from moving.
And let me clarify, it's not that religion can't be questioned. For me, I stand firmly on, I don't think people should question my religion as valid for me. So as my personal choice, but people can ask questions about my religion.
Okay, I got. Okay. So let's come back to you now.
So you can ask the questions, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to answer them.
So everybody needs to pay attention because I'm going to ask all of you, what would you need to hear from them to move you one line over? And what would you need to hear from him to move you one line over? What would it tell them what you would need to hear to move you to one line over?
I have no idea. I really don't.
You don't know.
No.
Okay. So tell him what.
And guys, you have to remember that as silly as it looks for her to be like, I don't know. A lot of people are like that, yet will pick a line anyway. So kudos to her. Not for being, kind of dumb and not being able to grapple with a very simple question, but for understanding that she's not able to grapple with that question.
What would it take to move you one line over that way?
I don't know. I'm the same with religion. I'm really religious. So I guess with that, it makes a lot of sense with religion, but I really don't.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
sorry.
Sorry.
And guys, I know you're just listening, but if you could take a minute to just hit that like button, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
But I just say what I just said.
If your religion was false, would you want to know it?
But I want to know what
Ooh,
if it's false.
Yeah, if it's false, would you
good
want to know?
question.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's a fair answer. That's a good question. Would you want to know if your religion is false? Would you want to know?
If you believe in heaven and hell, and
And that doesn't
if
exist.
I were wrong
Yeah.
and I could get to heaven, absolutely yes.
The fact that he's like, oh, if I was wrong, but I could still get to heaven, then that would be great. It's like, bro, wait, no. The whole thing is that there is no heaven.
If your religion was false, would you want to know?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't. If you wanted to know, then you would question it. If you wanted to know if it was wrong, then you would question it. It's fine to say that you don't want to know if it's wrong and you don't care if it's wrong, that it works for you and it helps you make sense of life and whatever. But you cannot say in the same time, I'm not willing for you to question my beliefs, nor should you question my beliefs. I'm willing to talk about them, but you can't question them. And also, I want to know if it's wrong. Those are conflicting statements.
I can bet what you're going to say. If your religion is false, would you want to know?
Absolutely.
I knew you were going to say that. If your religion, I don't know if you're religious or not.
I am, but
Would you want to know?
All right, I'm just gonna say it. I thought the guy, the other religious guy, had moved over here. It's definitely racist, but oops.
who's going to tell me and where'd they get the information?
Oh, so now you're skeptical. Now you believe that there's a man in the sky and you're in an afterlife and this and that and that. But now when somebody says maybe something different, now you're skeptical.
That's a great question.
Just like we went to the what is it? The fort today. Why are we going there? We're trying to get a little information, look at some of the details and look at, the heights and all that. How do you find it?
What was that gym moment where everybody just gymmed the camera?
Details and look at, the heights
One
and all
Jim?
that.
Jim Halpert?
How do you find it?
3.0.
Who's telling me that information?
Yeah.
How do I know
We're
what
basing our
happened there?
information off of people that thought that information that was based off of people before them. So who's to say what's what?
Because somebody could be pissed and tell you the wrong information. Me, them, Paul, anybody.
That's
How do you?
So then it should not be questioned.
I think it should be questioned. You should know
Mhm.
where are they getting the information? How'd they get it? How long ago have they known it?
So if someone's religion is false, because to me it seems like whether or not we should challenge beliefs, and if I'm wrong, let me know, is come down to we should challenge beliefs But
Except
most
for
people, not,
religion.
not everyone, say we should challenge beliefs unless they're religious beliefs. If you want to know what's true, then we
Exactly.
have to be able to question religious beliefs, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
But where do you get it? Yeah.
That's the next part of the question. That's the next part of the question. That's fine. Yeah, that's a valid question. That okay, if we are going to question your beliefs, what are you using to question my beliefs? What do you know and how do you know it? Fine. But you're trying to inoculate yourself against that line of questioning by saying, no, you can't question this anyway. Daniel says, but religion is based on faith, not facts. And they are very, very upfront about that you have faith, that you don't know, but you take that leap of faith, which is, again, it's fair enough, but you could be wrong. And if you're not willing to see if you are wrong, then, I mean, why, I mean, it's hard to it's difficult because I grew up in the Christian faith. I was born into the Catholic Church and confirmed in the Methodist Church, as many of you know. And for a long time, I never could have even thought about life in a way that wasn't in a religious context. But somehow, I still can't understand how people do it. I don't know.
What?
If someone wants to know if their religion is false, then they would have to be able to have their religion questioned. Other people would.
Come on, you got to be able to answer this one.
Then they would have to engage in a process of questioning to figure out so they could know if it's false. Because how else would they know it's false?
I don't know. I don't know how they would know. That's why I wouldn't believe them, because they can't prove it to me. If it is false, they'd have to have some dang good information. But
Okay, I'm going to give you the last word.
Oh, goody.
Oh, goody. We're definitely in the South.
Lay it on me. What do you want to know?
Well, I don't know. I was just going to say, she's neutral.
Yeah.
Is there anything you think that, I don't know if you know her or what, but is there anything that you can say that?
Hey, shout out and welcome to Guam Tech for the $10 super chat. Welcome to the channel. Said new to the channel and enjoying it so far. Thank you so much. Just wondering what your thoughts were on Jordan Peterson's views on religion and how he's connected with atheists with his ideas. Keep up the good work. Thank you. If you're new here, you may not know that every single super chat comes with a treat from my dog Morty. Let's see if he's gonna get up out of his thing. Come here. Come on. Come get the treat. No? All right. Well, I'm gonna leave that here for him. So I think you touch on something that is actually really close to my thinking and to my evolution of thinking. That Jordan Peterson is a very religious man, but in when he talks about religion, he doesn't talk about the faith aspect. He doesn't talk about what you have to do because we believe in the dogma. What he does is exactly what I would want if we are going to have people who are religious believers to talk about what is the metaphor here? What is the purpose? What is the actual actionable information that I can use from this story on my life? And so I think it's amazing, and he's opened that door. Since you're new to the channel, I'll let you know that my big thing is communication. Is to getting us to be able to communicate with each other, and exactly what you're touching on about how religion and atheism seem to be aligned with right and left, and it doesn't need to be that way. And I certainly am not blaming religious people for all of it. I do think religious people kind of gatekeep morality and say that if you don't believe, then you can't be a good person. Not directly like that, but there is that mentality. But on the other side, you have atheists who are, do not believe in a God claim like myself. But instead of taking the time to build up what they do believe, they just listen to the government. So like as Vivek Ramaswamy says with the substitution theory, if you have a God-sized hole in your heart, something is going to fill it. And for me, I filled it with moral philosophy and just Christian values as values instead of beliefs. Great question, Guam Tech. Welcome to the team. You are now part of the Indian Jesus team. Hey, we got Dietrich's in the building. Welcome. So going live on a Tuesday. Yeah, you missed it. So I'm really stupid and I don't know how to math. So Peter Boghossian is on the wow, I'm dumb. He's on the West Coast right now, and I'm in Jersey. And so I'm talking to his assistant, trying to, you know, figure out when we are gonna do things. And he said 4 p.m. Pacific. So I'm like, okay, perfect. I know that that's 3 hours, whatever. So I get, I go to bed early. Usually I'm up pretty late, relatively early. I get up, you know, make sure everything's good. I got my notes here. I got my laptop here in case something goes down. And you know, it's like 10 to 1, and there's no Peter, and it's 1 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go live, and you know, hopefully he'll show up. And then we're live, and we're doing exactly what we're doing with the video here. And I'm looking through the emails, and I'm like, am I stupid, guys? 4 p.m. Pacific. That's 1 p.m. Eastern, right? So, you know, we had gotten, yes, 7 p.m. tonight, Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. Peter Boghossian will be here live, as long as I didn't confuse his assistant with too many damn links. But I definitely gave her the right one. So yes, 7 p.m. tonight, the real Peter Boghossian will be here. So we just had some very generous people. Got to add Guam Tech to the sponsor list here, tied up with Dr. Evil Genius, who I believe is listening as he is working. But either way, very much appreciated. But yes, that is Guam Tech. You hit the nail on the head there. You hit the nail on the head. Guam Tech says, heck yeah, buddy. I knew I liked your channel from the beginning for a reason. Let's go. All right, let's dive back in. Where were we here? Oh, he was getting the last word on the claim that some beliefs should never be questioned. And of course, I say no. And again, I know you guys, a lot of you guys are just listening. If you could hit that like button at any point, that would be amazing for me. Thank you.
That you think might vibe with her to move her one line over?
I think just because we know each other,
Oh, let me add you to the banner, brother.
all four of us know each other. So I kind of know her history background, or a little bit. I know their history background.
Okay.
So
Thank you again, Guam Tech.
like our religion is one of the oldest in the world.
Okay.
So we've got history on our side.
So remember last night when we were talking about the atheists who were taking shots at Richard Dawkins and by proxy Peter Boghossian about the trans stuff. And they said, we have hundreds of years of this. We've known about this forever. These are the atheists who sit on every Sunday and jab at all the Christians for what they do or don't believe. And then when it comes to one little thing, they're like, well, people back then said it, so must be true. Hey, shout out to Jeff Peterson for the $5 super chat. We got a treat coming right over to morning for you. Thank you, sir. Jeff says, I am a Christian in the vein of Jordan. I appreciate Indian Jesus and his commitment to reason, and I think Indian Jesus is changing our culture in a positive way. Strong words, brother. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I am trying my best. Thank you, sir.
Is it being older make it more likely to be true?
For history, I think as it's handed down, yes. Instead of something that began, say, 100 years ago, like out of the
Mormonism.
I wasn't going to say that, but I would say, okay, that's fair to say. Not they believe what they believe,
but are they right?
That's great. I think the goal for religion is to be the best person that you can be for everybody and other people, and do the best that you can do and live.
And questioning doesn't play a role in that?
It doesn't for me. Like this lady said, for her religion, you know, whether she's been brought up as a child from it or whatever, but she believes it. And I don't think we want to be questioned on it.
But why? Why don't you want to be questioned on it? That's the weird part, is that if you give your opinion on a Marvel movie, you have no problem with somebody saying, well, wait, I didn't feel like that. I thought that, you know, when they brought in this and then it was all weird and blah, 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 blah. And you'd be like, well, I kind of like that. You know, maybe we need a little weirdness or whatever. You're willing to engage that because you are comfortable in your position. If you're so strong in your faith, then what is the issue with having a conversation about it? We got Dan back. Shout out to Dan. Says, but do you need religion to be the best person you can be? Of course. Of course you do. Of course not. Of course not. Daniel says there are a bunch of polytheistic religions that are vastly older than Judaism and or Christianity. Does that make them right? Of course not. Of course not. It only goes to the argument that it goes to. We're not talking about other religions, guys. So oldness, because something is old, oldness matters. But if something is older, because that's not what we're talking about, then oldness is irrelevant.
What?
I know.
We do get questioned on it.
And you don't like that?
I'd listen. You know, I'm open, but I'm stubborn, and
All right.
I was raised with it, so it'd be hard to change my mind.
All right. Well, hey, listen.
Something tells me it would not at all be hard to change your mind if you actually allowed the conversation. But it would be hard to change your mind because of the fact that you won't have the conversation.
I want to thank everybody. I just want a couple of comments. I don't usually make comments after these, but I'll make comment. I thought this was a super interesting conversation because everybody
Dan says I must be true then. I'm old as F. Good one.
seemed willing to question stuff, but it was the religious thing that was really the sticking point. And I thought that was really interesting. It was like, nobody said, well, I don't want to question a moral issue, or I don't want to question, whether I love my, son or something. There's nothing like that. It was very interesting to me, the fact that the conversation, the sticking point in the lines was one particular kind of question. And I thought that was super interesting.
I think it's super interesting too, because we know that it means that unless there actually is something different about the claims of religion in claiming anything as to be a truth claim, unless there is something different about those claims, that there should not be this special pleading to say, oh no, religious beliefs are safe and they just are what they are and we believe them and this and that, whatever. That's irrational.
What out of all this? Yeah. What do you feel like things are based on? Belief, a single belief, many beliefs? What do you feel?
What do you mean things are based on? What do you mean?
Like religion, is it a single thing?
What? Oh, it's a
Stupid thing.
I've literally spent 40 years thinking about that and writing about it and publishing on it, and so maybe you asked the right person or the wrong person. I don't know. But I think it's a bunch of things. I think it's culture, because I think if somebody is born in a different culture, we have people who intensely believe, and I think it's frankly idiotic to say that somebody born in a different culture they don't actually believe their religion. Of course, they actually believe their religion. Yeah, so I think that's a piece of it. I think another piece of it is that community. So I think that what people want more than to be right or wrong is to belong and to be loved, to be members of a community. And I think religious communities do that in a way that, in a way that bowling communities don't do that, and other communities don't do that, or even cruise ships, you can make friends, but it's very different from a religious community.
All right, so
and the third thing I think is really important is that everybody, unless have some kind of a psychopathy, you want to be a good person. Everybody wants to be a good person. And many people think, well, the way to be a good person is to believe these things.
Yep.
These are good things. Good people believe these. I'm a good person. I believe these.
That's the entire line of thinking behind religion equals good. I believe good thing, therefore I'm good person. End of story. That's all. Guamtech says Peter is so good at getting people to clarify their positions and to get them to think about it without being disrespectful. Dude is paving the way to get answers to the real questions of our time. Absolutely. And that is precisely why I'm too excited by being 6 hours early to talk to him. And again, he will be here at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm just going to say 4 p.m. Pacific. 4 p.m. Pacific, whatever time that is, he's going to be here. Jeff says, Scripture tells believers to always be ready to give reasons for their faith, regardless of what you believe. If you can't explain why you believe, do you really believe anything. Well said, sir. Well said. Dietrich said, I'm a Christian to the extent that I accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior. But I believe that if you're a good person who fights the obvious evils of the earth, it doesn't matter to me what you believe in. And I mean, if I'm certainly not God, but if I were God, if I were a God, if I were me and creating a universe, then this is how I would like, I wouldn't need you to bow down to me. I would want you to just act in a good way, like be a good person. And also don't live an unreasoned life, because that is how you get lost. That is how you get drawn in by temptation, by not having, and temptation, I'm not using that in a religious context. I'm using that as something that is tempting, that is not good for you. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have the drive to move forward, then any old thing can change your direction. You're just wandering around. Well said, sir. So let's do one more here. This one is from Romania. And the question being, I think it's, but is gay marriage unnatural? So let's make that one a poll before we start. Is gay marriage unnatural? I know a bunch of you guys are just watching, excuse me, I know a bunch of you guys are just listening, but polls, I love my polls. All right, so let's get into it.
Did you understand their argument?
I think I missed it here. Why did he? Oh, okay. He mislabeled it, eh? So, okay. So the claim is gay marriage should be legal. So you should be allowed to gay marry. That's the claim. Yeah, we're in Dracula's place. Do you think the gays should get married?
One move.
So we got 1 on disagree and 2 on strongly agree. Okay, interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
So you guys are going to need to hear him. He needs to hear you. So you may have to raise your voice a little bit. So tell him why you think gay marriage should be legal.
Gay marriage should be legal because love doesn't have a gender, doesn't have a sexuality. Love is between two people. And if those two people want to get married, it's up to them to do that.
I completely agree. As much as this trans ideology stuff has gotten way too crazy, slippery slope of all slippery slopes, I'm unconvinced that the beginning of this slippery slope was gay marriage. I don't exactly know where it is. But I'm not comfortable saying it was a gay marriage, and that's because what gay marriage is so just wholly different. Not wholly like God, like WH, completely different from the notion of pushing this stuff on kids. There's so many gay and trans people who are against the pushing of the ideology in the way that it has. So I think it has something to do with the corporatization of the LGBT community more than the law that gay marriage was legalized. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you? That's another one. No, I don't want to make the poll because I actually want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think that gay marriage, the legalization of gay marriage, was the start to the slippery slope that is the woke trans ideology? Just said the government shouldn't have any influence or opinion on any marriage. Well said. Well, influence or opinion on opinion of adults. Let's just say of adults. I'm assuming that's what you were thinking as well, but obviously, child marriage, we don't want to go there. But assuming that we're on the same page, that completely agree. Guamtech says gay people have just as much of a right to be miserable as straight people. Yep, good one. Daniel says, okay, so here's a question. Should gay people get the same tax breaks as straight people, since the tax breaks are there because you can produce a family? Yes. So here is how we fix this quote unquote inequality. You get a marriage tax break, and then you get child tax credits. So there's a certain level of tax break for simply being in a household and whatever. Shout out again to Melted Mind Media. I'm gonna drop his link one more time. Another awesome YouTuber I just collaborated with. Go check him out. Where were we? Okay. So yeah. You get a certain smaller tax break for just getting married, which again, I mean, it makes sense, and I like the incentive for people to get married. I don't know if I 100% understand why whatever. But you get a certain level of tax break just for getting married. But the real tax break is for having children. So the child tax credit would be way more valuable than the marriage tax credit or the tax breaker. I don't know. I'm not married and don't have kids. I don't know how it works. And that way, I think that that solves that problem completely. I think, right? Just says the slippery slope of any right is when rights become special rights, promoting or defending one group over another. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. I didn't even know this is what I thought until you said it, because that's exactly right. Because that's why marriage equality is not this. The slippery slope was giving extra rights and creating special circumstances for people. And so again, I don't know if I have a particular moment, but I think it was the corporatization of the LGBT community. Well said, Jeff. Thank you very much. I've been wrestling with that one for a while. And so this gives it a lot more shape in my brain, if you know what I mean. Guamtech said, I do think it's a slippery slope, but just because society allowed it. Fair enough. Daniel said, and thus sustain the population. Yeah, I figured we were on the same page with that one. And Daniel said he thinks it was. So what do you think about this idea of what Jeff is saying, is that when we're giving when rights become special rights or promoting one group over another, where that's not what's happening in marriage equality. It's just extending the same rights to everybody. If you the argument that I might accept would be that the notion of the religious context of what marriage actually is. And so I think if legally all the tax stuff and all the legal stuff is the same, and you don't want to call it marriage and you call it civil union, I don't really have an issue with that. I would defer to how much gay people actually care about that. And even then, I don't really care. But I do think that they should be allowed to have a union just like everybody else. Shout out to Martian Overlord. Welcome to the party. Said bumping silver uglies is a normal thing in nature. Indeed, it is. Jeff said taxes on income and property are not moral. That solves the marriage benefit. Works for me. Or an earned income credit. Yep. Daniel said, but both groups must actually be equal. This is not the case. What do you mean? How are they not equal? You can get married to who you want. They can get married to who they want. Unless you're talking about equity, in which case I don't give a flying F about equity. You can get equity all the way out of here. I don't care if there's as many gay couples or as many kids with that's irrelevant to me. I'm with Jeff. He says, get the government out of marriage, income tax, and property tax solves a lot of issues. Well said. Well said. All right, let's dive back in here.
Okay. Do you agree with him?
Yes, I do agree with him.
So tell him why you think gay marriage should be legal.
I think religion and the Constitution should not be converted with each other. And
this is not how you do it, guys. She's assuming that he has religious reasons for what he's saying, and he probably does. Doesn't seem to be any logical reason outside of religion. But you know what happens when you assume? You make an ass out of you and me.
And I think that everyone should have the right to choose who they want to marry, and I think it should be a human right to just marry the person you want to love.
So right there, a human right to marry the person you love. What about that part, Daniel, is not equal? That's what I'm not understanding from your position.
No matter what, like, it should not be depicted on your religion. And if you agree with God or disagree with God, it should just be a human right.
So it's a human right it's a human right, and you believe people should.
Yeah. So, and then Daniel says, a straight couple can produce life. A gay couple cannot. If you want to call it union, I'm fine, but it's not marriage. So that's what I was saying. That if you in the religious context, if you think only marriage is between a man and a woman, and for the purposes of that, but as she just correctly said, just out of turn, that this is not how we decide laws. That is your religious belief, which is fine, but that is not how we make laws in this country. And so if we already have called marriage, if we have already put marriage into the legal context, and now there is a legal thing called marriage, then, I mean, that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. I understand where you're coming from. And I mean, I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from. And a lot of people feel that way. And call it a union and whatever. But that's really the heart of what we're talking about. And I think that the push to not call it a marriage is petty is the wrong word. Petty is the wrong word. It's not petty, but it seems unimportant. I don't understand why that's important. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying I don't understand. Martian Overlord said, too many unreligious people are obsessed with Christianity. Well, that's because it's all over the place. You can't get away from it. Try to be try to be a secular person and get away from Christianity. This is exactly what trans people say about conservatives. Oh, conservatives are completely obsessed with trans. Well, why do you think that is? Because you're shoving it down our goddamn throats all the time. Martian says, marriage is just a legally respected union. That's what I think.
Should be able to love and marry whoever they want.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go. All right. So if she, remember, she assumed that he went over to disagree for religious reasons. I would think that if you are there for religious reasons, you would go to strongly disagree. But that could just be a personal thing. Sometimes people just don't want to go all the way. You know what I mean?
Did you understand their argument? Not agree with them, but understand.
I definitely understand.
Tell them what you heard them say.
I hear you say religion should have nothing to do with love. You say love is more important than what other people think. And you say, yeah, religion and culture should not interfere in that way.
Did he get it right? Give me a thumbs up. Okay. What did he miss from what you said?
The fact that it should be a human right.
A human right. Okay. So tell them why you disagree that gay marriage should be legal. Now, you're going to have to do exactly what I asked him to do.
I understand. So I truly believe the natural thing is not a matter of legal or not legal. If it's natural, if it's normal, it's like this.
Fair enough. The question was, no, wait. You did say legal, right? We're at 2:15. Yeah, we're not. The video is called unnatural, but the question was not about what is natural, unnatural. The claim is it should be legal.
So you don't need to prove you're human. You don't need to be legal as a human. You be as you are.
So you believe gay marriage should not be legal because why?
Because you don't need to prove you're gay. You don't need to, if
What?
it's natural.
What? I'm not sure I understand. So explain in other ways to help me understand.
I wonder how much of a hit the impact of these street epistemology things. I wonder how much is undercut by the language barrier, because clearly they're great at English, and we as Americans we're so quick to make fun of accents and stuff. But I mean, I barely even count as actually I don't count as speaking Spanish. I know some Spanish words, and all I speak is English. But it certainly is a struggle. You can see that he's struggling to articulate what he means because of the language barrier. So maybe something to ask Peter later tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, when he will be here live. Martian says, I live in a purple podunk, and I never see Christians calling out the LGBT couple in Walmart. No one quoting the commandments. Oh, sure. I don't understand. Just said one aspect of how Christianity is practiced is when Christians mix up the roles of families, church, and government. How we make public policy needs to be based on civil rights, not church doctrine. If every Christian was like Jeff, I would have no issue with Christianity, except for the fact that I don't believe in it. But
Okay, so the question is why I am disagree with gay marriage.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm disagree with gay marriage because it's like out of the natural order, you know.
but it's not. There's many animals that do gay shit.
So
And
if,
the nature, in the nature, we don't need legality. We don't need law to make something that's already. We need law to make order somewhere where it's chaos, where it's not.
So murder, we have laws against murder. So it's natural for most people to go around and murder. It's not the exception that people want to murder each other. So that's why we have a law against murder.
What?
No. Martian says no one talks about God on the street except for the one old guy who walks around with pamphlets or the Mormons. Yeah, because it's I mean, not anymore. But were you alive in the 90s? Like, have you never heard of a televangelist? You never heard of Joel Osteen? I mean, come on, man. What is the Westboro Baptist Church going to protest soldiers' funerals? Like, don't act like, I mean, come on, bro. Don't act like it's just out of nowhere.
okay, and when you say, so I'm coming to you to understand. So when you say natural order, what do you mean?
I mean the way that the nature run by itself.
Okay, so if you could be shown to your satisfaction that homosexuality was found in nature, frogs, bulls, dogs, you would change your mind.
No.
See, that's another thing that a lot of people do is well, I believe this because, but then if that were changed, then they would still believe. So that's not why you believe that it should be illegal.
Well, then the reason isn't that it accords with the natural order. It has to be, you have to disagree for another reason.
No, because it's not. That's just like a isolate example that you bring it up.
But it's a natural example.
Okay. Did you understand what he said?
Yeah, I understand his point of view.
What do you think?
Oh, here
Very
comes the
conservative.
rain.
And what is there something right or
Africa.
wrong with his reasoning?
Depends on the way you look at it. It really depends.
No, it really doesn't depend on the way you look at it. He's wrong because he's saying that it doesn't happen in nature, and it does happen in nature. Therefore, you are wrong.
But what can I say? I truly believe there is no natural order of such thing. People just should get the chance to love each other, whatever their sexuality or other stuff like that.
So I disagree. I disagree that there's no natural order to things. Clearly, there is a natural order, but the notion that someone who finds themselves outside of their choice to be attracted to someone of the same sex is just as natural as anything else. And in fact, me sitting in front of a computer with a 4K camera, it's streaming to you across the world, is also natural because you know what happened? Humans built all this. It's all natural. Martian said most small towns aren't those though. I understand that. I'm not saying that they are. The news grabs big occurrences. Most of the country is more accepting after a conversation. This guy though wants more laws, and it's crazy. Well, does he want more laws? I guess he would want it out. It depends on what the laws in Romania are right now. I would assume that it's not legal. I don't know. Let's see. Is gay marriage legal in Romania? Let's see. Come on. Just where's the thing with the answer? Okay, so no. So technically, it was legal since 2001, but same-sex marriage and partnership is not recognized, with the exception of foreign marriages. Oh, homosexuality is legal. So no, he doesn't want. So technically, he doesn't actually want more laws. He just wants. Yeah. So it's not an extra law, but I hear what you're saying. Fair enough. We on the same page. All right.
So for you, natural order has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, correct.
So whether or not we find female seagulls having sex with each other is totally irrelevant to the question of gay marriage.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't really agree because he oversimplified things. I think that it has to do with the natural order, which does not exist.
Based.
Seagulls, dogs, lions, penguins,
Dolphins, I believe.
Bonobos.
yeah, they've been found to take part in homosexual activities.
Yup.
And people from the 12th, 13th century, 300 BC,
Ancient Greeks.
ancient Greeks,
Yep.
Rome, they were homosexuals. Most men were homosexuals. So
Whoa. I don't know about most men, but certainly a lot of men.
I don't really know. It's just a matter that people started becoming more and more conservative and bringing religion into their life more and more, and that led to people disagreeing with homosexuality. But homosexuality was a thing back then.
So Jeff says, here's an interesting mental game. If homosexual is natural, wouldn't evolution have weeded it out? I don't think there is a way to answer that satisfactorily for anyone, but it is interesting. So if it wasn't, well, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but even things that exist that are not, so the way that evolution works is weeding out things that are not advantageous to the propagation of the species. So if you're gay, then you're not procreating. And so it would make sense that if there was an overwhelming, like if the majority of the population was gay, then yes, humans would be weeded out. And we may be in the process of homosexuality being weeded out. Like evolution takes generations and generations and generations and generations and generations. So the fact that we're talking about the ancient Greeks in evolutionary terms, they're like, we're the same exact thing. We haven't really evolved. That's what, 10, 15, 20 generations? That's not that much time. So it is an interesting point to bring up, that if it doesn't help spread our genes, then it would make sense that that evolution would not support that. However, because it's not a born with it, it's I don't know. It is an interesting question, and I don't know if there's a way to answer it satisfactorily. But indeed, it is interesting. Martian says it's about not overtaking resources. How so? Not overtaking resources. I'm not sure what you mean. Jeff says, by natural, I mean born that way. So here's the homosexual, if you were born that way, wouldn't evolution have weeded it out? So and you may be you may be right in the sense that it is being weeded out, and that despite the fact that 20% of Gen Z claims to be part of the LGBT community, the actual incidence of people who are attracted to the opposite sex may very slowly be on its way out, simply because gay couples do not procreate. But it's not a hereditary thing. And so if the only way you were gay was from having gay parents, then we would see that being weeded out, because you're getting that gene, that gene that heretically from your parents. So the notion of it being weeded out, it doesn't exactly work that way, and I'm not quite smart enough to explain exactly why. Just as in the 90s and 2000s, the big issue was whether homosexuality was a choice or DNA. And I mean, I think even this was an overly simplistic way to think about it, because preferences can evolve, but they're not choices. There's a difference between a choice and a preference, but you can evolve. Like, when I was in high school, I was, rocker guy. I was into punk and hardcore and going to shows and stuff. And I always thought electronic music was the dumbest thing ever. Like, ooh, why do they even listen? They're not even playing instruments. And then I went to college and found ecstasy. And I was like, oh, now I get it. And so I much prefer now, a lot of the times, to listen to electronic music. That preference has changed over time. But that's not anything part of my DNA. And it also was not a choice. So if it's a preference, then it's neither choice nor DNA. Martian said, homosexual pairings in nature come when the population of a species loses homeostasis and consumes more than it naturally occurs. Didn't know that. Interesting.
Do you agree with her that homosexuality has always been a thing since the ancient Greeks?
Probably in isolate case. And once again,
No, not in isolated cases, bro. Sorry. Like, again, what did we say about the girl in the last one? Who was just like, I don't know. She is as prepared for the conversation as this guy is. But instead of trying to BS her way out, she just said, I don't know. So, oh man, we have 10 full votes, and yet we are split down the middle, 50-50. So, replay gang, let me know in the comments below. Is gay marriage unnatural? Is it unnatural? Here in the video, they're talking about legality, but in the poll, I personally am asking you, is gay marriage unnatural? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments below.
looking to the wrong direction, we're looking to the animal kingdom. What I mean is like life in general, in mankind, will not exist anymore.
I already know what you think, Martian.
I'm
talking to the replay
If
game.
everybody were to become gay.
Yeah, but probably not everybody will become, but if you start something little, then you can go very wrong in the future, And look into this polarity that we have in the world, light and dark, cold and hot, female energy, masculine energy. That's what brings life. Other part, you don't have this plus minus connection. You don't have the light in the electricity. So in that term of thinking, I think it's very important to have this both energy. If you put plus plus, you know what's happened. If you put minus minus, you know what's happened.
There's an explosion.
It's not life. It's nothing. It's inertia.
You're just talking nonsense, bro. None of this has anything to do with human sexuality.
So if it
It's
hasn't,
the principle of
sorry.
Oh, it's the
So
principle now.
if it hasn't happened for
It's nothing to do with the
2,500
religion.
years,
I'm not religious. It's nothing to do with the traditional,
Told ya. You know what happens when you assume? You make an ass out of you and me.
It's nothing to do against the people who they want to be in the same marriage, man with man or woman with woman. It's just a matter of we couldn't deny the reality of living, of life, of bringing life. If two men, they want to procreate, that will be impossible. If two women, they want to procreate, that will be impossible, without these two energy, female energy, male energy. In that manner, of thinking, I think it's super important
What does this have to do with legality, bro?
to respect what we are, in our true natural.
All that comes down to is him saying, essentially, I wouldn't want to be married to a dude. Okay, great. Me neither. That's not what we're talking about.
I take it you disagree with what he said.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I actually have a lot of points.
You have a lot of points. Well, let me go to you first. What do you have to say?
My first point would be that life in general is not about creating life as a couple. Life is so much more than having kids and populating the earth and stuff like that. So
There you go.
What is it about?
I don't know.
It's about building a community. It's about propagating the community. You have children so that they grow up and you can raise them so that they grow up and continue the society that you live in so that they can get married and have their own children and so on and so forth. That's the point.
What is it about necessarily? Because everyone has a different meaning towards life. Yeah, for some people it's important to have kids, but for some people it's more important to travel, to find yourself.
Really, lady? I that's exactly what I would do. Like, really? You see us with a camera and we're doing a thing and you just walk right on through.
Because everyone has a different meaning towards life. Yeah, For some people, it's important to have kids, but
Look
for
at her,
some people,
just
it's
walking
more
right
important
on
to travel, to find yourself, to read, to try to do anything really.
So
Not
you
have kids.
disagree with his
Like, look how much space they have. Look how much space they have. And she was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna walk right
point?
through.
Yeah.
Tell him.
I also disagree because it's been found that women can procreate with each other. You take embryos and the eggs, and you can procreate with it. They can procreate with each other.
This is the first I'm hearing of this. If anybody has any information on 2 women procreating, please let me know.
And they can get each other pregnant. So that theory just falls to the ground. It's also the fact that it doesn't have to do with a feminine and masculine energy, because men and women can variate in masculine and feminine energy, and he is more to the he sees the things more from a family standpoint. So I don't really understand, because yeah, okay, some people, that's what they want to do. They want to procreate and they want to have kids, but that's not everyone's not everyone's desire. And some people even want to adopt, and it's even better to adopt. There's so many kids who don't have homes and they're waiting to be adopted, and they could be adopted by gay people if gay marriage was legal and gay adoption was legal. But
So I was gonna say like blah 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 blah. What are you talking about? But thinking that now that in Romania it's not legal to be married if you're gay, then that actually does have a lot more relevance. If she was in America talking about gay people can adopt, then like they already have that right, so that's irrelevant. But the context changed. Context matters.
again, they're not in Romania, at least.
So gay marriage
it's
is
right
not
there.
legal here.
No, it's not.
Okay, so my final question to everybody. Do you feel that you each have a better understanding of the not if you agree, but do you have a better understanding of the arguments?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Nah. Why am I not surprised?
Interesting.
Completely disagree.
Yeah.
I have the.
Wait. Do you not understand, or do you completely disagree? How do you completely disagree with something that you don't understand?
I have the feeling they was not understand. It's not the issue of bringing kids or not. Everybody should be free to choose their destiny. It's about a principle, if you want. We speak principally, about the life.
What's the principle in a sentence?
You can procreate.
Before he goes there, Jeff says another aspect is if sexuality isn't a choice, can there be love? Is romantic love based in sexuality? These are the type of hot debate questions a few decades ago. So if sexuality isn't a choice, can there be love? Is romantic love based in sexuality? I'm not sure I understand why if sexuality isn't a choice, there can be love because it's who you're attracted to. And if sexuality is a choice, then you can choose to build a life with that person and then fall in love with them. I'm not understanding how sexuality being a choice affects whether or not there can be love. I'm lost on there.
If you have embryos and stuff, you mix them. Okay, if you have a spermatozoid, which is from the male, and ovule, which is from the female, you can procreate. Without that one, is no more life, And thinking in from today to the future, in millennium, if we will change that, could be the society could basically disappear,
So Jeff says, is love a choice or is it hormones? Well, I don't believe in free will at all. So I would say it's all hormones and electrical signals, all of it, not just love, but everything is electricity and chemicals. So that's why it doesn't, for me, it's all the same, whether it's a choice or hormones, it doesn't matter because it's a feeling. And so whatever brings that feeling, it doesn't change what the feeling is. That's like if this is a protein shake, being love, then it doesn't really matter if it got here because I made it or it got here because I ordered it from a thing. That doesn't change the fact that I have a protein shake. And so if I'm in love, it doesn't matter whether I chose to feel that way or if my hormones are doing that. I still feel that way. Does that make sense?
And
is that a concern that the society will disappear if guys just start having sex with each other?
Could be. No, they could have sex with each other, But if you extend that, that will change completely the society that we know today.
You mean if just everybody starts having if everybody of one sex starts having sex with other people of their sex? Would you ever have sex with a guy?
Can you repeat the
Yeah.
first question?
Well,
Oh, okay. I was gonna say you really need a repeat on that. Would you have a sex with another guy?
well,
For this one is no. Now the first one that you tried to ask me.
okay. Forget the first one. So let's go. So you would not have sex with a guy.
Yes.
So if you would not have sex with a guy, then there'll always be some men and some women, I assume, who would have sex with people of the
Same.
opposite sex. So society will always keep going as long as you're here.
That's correct.
So then we don't have to worry if
We don't have to worry now, but if that changes slowly, it's a domino effect.
that
Could be.
soon
Could not
everybody
be.
will be gay.
Not necessary.
But it
I
could
see.
be. Could. It's
As
possible.
options, yes, it's always there.
And do you think that like gay marriage is a gateway or a way to make that more likely?
Could be not, could be yes.
Okay.
I mean, shout out to Peter Boghossian for being able to drive a conversation with this type of wishy-washiness. Like, stand on something. Well, could be, maybe, I don't know. Maybe, well, maybe if you knew, stand on something. What is it that you think? Say that. Say that. And if you don't know, say I don't know.
Okay, I think I understand. What do you think of his argument?
Where to start? I don't think so. He went through the route. Okay, society is gonna disappear if we legalize gay marriage, and I think that's not really the case. Not everyone is gay. Not everyone.
Are you? Can I ask if you're gay or straight?
I'm straight. I'm in a heterosexual. I'm in a happy relationship, but I support
I love how he didn't ask the other dude, but he had to ask this dude. He's like, maybe I should have asked him before I asked this guy.
the choice of the people.
Okay, so if marriage between two men were legal tomorrow, would you go out and start having sex with men?
No, of course not.
Okay, so you think society would continue if we had gay marriage?
It will continue just as normal because, as she said, homosexuality has been a part of a society since antiquity.
Okay. Do you have anything final to add?
No, not really. I just think his opinions are very outdated and they don't match society because nothing bad is gonna happen by legalizing gay marriage because people are
Hold
still
on one
gonna.
second. 1 second.
Hey, shout out to Iridium Kush coming in to drop a like. Welcome to the party. Always good to see you, brother. Jeff is saying, so if there is no free will, we can blame child diddlers for sexual feelings towards children. I'm not really trying to make a point. My friends used to have fun debating this stuff. So, yeah, great question. So the fact that free will doesn't exist doesn't change the fact that we need to protect children from those what should we call them? We'll call them what was the chomo? There we go, chomo. So the children need to be protected from chomos, whether or not the chomos are actively deciding to want to be attracted to children. That's a non-starter because again, whether or not, if this is a child being whatever, we can't have this. It doesn't matter why this got here. It doesn't matter why the person wants it. Cannot happen. Cannot happen. So if you're choosing to be a chomo, then I mean, morally, I guess that would be worse than if that's your natural preference. But that doesn't matter to me. I don't care about your preferences over the safety of children. And I mean, this is one of the strongest things that is going to be difficult for me to talk about if this whole map thing kind of starts to blow up more, because I do believe that, or rather, I don't believe that it's just a choice to be a chomo like this. Like, why would you choose that? Why would you choose that? And if you've ever actually dug into the psychology and the neuroscience of what is happening when a chomo is getting excited by a picture of a child or whatever, there's a famous case where I forget the guy's name, but He was married, he has kids, normal life. And I think he was in his 30s. And randomly, he started being attracted to children. And he did something like not that bad, but super like not that bad on the scale of what can be done to children in that realm. Like it's all bad. But I'm saying there's degrees. And so he did something in that range, but it wasn't like wasn't a violent RPA or something like that. And he went to the doctor and realized that there was a tumor growing on his pituitary gland. And so that was messing with his hormones and his sexual feelings and that stuff. So he got the tumor removed, and the chomo feelings disappeared. Then, a few years later, he's feeling the tingle. He's feeling that tingle again. And he's looking over at a 7-year-old or something. And this time, he actually recognized, like, hey, whoa. I'm familiar with this. I do not want to goes back to the doctor. And guess what happens? The tumor is back. So the idea of, is love a choice or is it hormones? That's a great question. But if this love is leading to children being hurt, then it's irrelevant. And we all agree. Glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So just because an opinion is outdated, it doesn't mean it's wrong.
I mean, no, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It's wrong in my point of view, but his point of view, it's right. So people have different opinions. I don't really mind.
Yeah, but we're not talking about opinions. We're talking about fact. Actually, no, this one is opinion. This one's more opinion based. Okay, fair enough.
Just his opinion.
Okay.
I just think it's wrong.
Okay, final question. Is there anything that would cause you...
Before we go to the final question, guys, again, remember this. The reason we are here right now is because I am dumb and don't know how to do math and messed up the time zones. So Peter Boghossian will be here with me live, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. He will be here with me. We're going to finish up this, and then I am going to go take a nap because I did not sleep a wink last night. I have a joint rolled up. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I got the rest of the day off. I'm going to smoke up. I'm going to chill. I'm going to whatever. But unfortunately, I can't do that now. But be back here, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Peter Boghossian live not in person, but live.
To move to the agree line, and is there anything that would cause you to move to the slightly disagree or to the strongly disagree? Is there anything that would cause you to move one line to the left or one line to the right?
No, maybe, could be.
So the
I don't
question is
know.
why I take this decision to move here and not there?
No.
Or there.
No, the question is, what would they have to tell you or
Yeah.
you have to hear for you to move there? And what would you have to learn for you to move here?
So as you see, I'm not in the extreme like there.
A little jab at the, well, I'm not extreme.
Because I always respect other people's thinking, So
Unless they're gay and want to get married.
we can always be open to dialogue. For that reason, I choose this position. Is nothing on the world that they can say to make me move more close to them.
Well,
How do you know that?
what would you have to hear to make you move to the strongly disagree?
Also nothing.
So you're very confident that's the right line.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
thank
Almost dogmatically confident, would you say?
you. Are you, what would cause you to move to the agree?
Absolutely nothing.
Wouldn't change a thing.
Okay, is there any question? Is there any question I should have asked you that I did not ask you?
It's important to ask us why this topic is so important today.
Oh, why is the topic
Yeah,
so
it's
important?
becoming more mainstream, and I hear that ideas over and over these days, But back in time, I mean, there are many philosophers, they not agree too much about this, and now becoming a new thing, new cool thing,
So why do you think this is an important topic?
I think it's important
You-
topic
'cause you
because
guys
I
chose
can
it.
I can see this cultural switch, for the last years. Back in time was people that have different different topics to play with, to think, to discover. And now this has become so big social stuff. For that reason, I say that,
All right, thank you. Thank you for playing.
All right. So if you guys enjoyed that, like I said, Dr. Peter Boghossian himself will be here. Not right now because I'm dumb and I don't know how to tell time apparently, but 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here. He will be with me live. let's end on Jeff Pearson said, I dig the way he does this. You can see people thinking this through. Exactly. And that's exactly why I wanted so badly to talk to him, because he is doing so much in the way of what I want to happen, and to foster conversations between people who disagree but are able to understand the other side. That's the biggest problem, I think, with discourse in this country, is that people don't understand what the other side thinks. They think they know. And then on top of that, they think they know that the other people are wrong, and they're dogmatically in their own corner. So both of those working together, you're not going to get anywhere. So I mean, I guess, even though they all said that they wouldn't move, I guess I got to be with the dude who's not on strongly agree, to be like, hey, I'm open for the conversation. Because if he's saying agree, or excuse me, if he's saying disagree but not strongly disagree, he's just saying, all right, this is not something. And then I'm willing to think that, based on how he was saying, oh, I'm open to having, discourse and dialogue, and that I don't know that he fully understood what Peter was asking about what would make you change. But another great street epistemology from Peter Boghossian. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. I'm sorry I messed up the times, but I'm definitely sure, and I will let you guys know through the community tab if anything changes, but it will not. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Peter Boghossian, Dr. Peter Boghossian, here live. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Jeff Pearson for the $5 super chat, and the sponsor of our stream, Guam Tech. Welcome to the team. Glad to have you guys. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, I am out of here. Peace.